I'm so glad you found my podcast, New Friends. I'm Jordana. I just turned 20. I live in Nashville. I actually moved here right after high school to chase my dream of being a singer-songwriter, which basically means that I skipped the whole college thing and dove headfirst into trying to make music and make sense of life at the same time. I started New Friends because I wanted to create the kind of space I've always needed. A place to talk about the things we're all trying to figure out. Friendship, confidence, self-worth, following your own path, and everything in between. Some episodes are solo, some are with guests. Sometimes the conversations even turn into songs. But every episode is rooted in honesty and vulnerability, and feeling a little less alone. I'm so happy you're here. Welcome to New Friends. Hey, welcome back to another episode of New Friends. I'm Jordana Bryant. So it seems like a lot of y'all liked the episode that I did a few weeks ago where I was answering questions that you had sent in. So we're going to do another one of those today, but I asked you to send in questions and stories about dating and dates that you've gone on recently. And wow, I mean, there are some really interesting ones. I feel like I should apologize for some of these traumatic experiences that we've been enduring recently. I mean, I can personally say that I have not had the best experience lately of dates, but you know what, it's okay. But clearly it's like a worldwide epidemic. It's not just me, so at least there's that. Okay. First question that someone sent in, they said, I was on this date and halfway through let me start over. I was on this date and halfway through he asked if he could Venmo me for his half of the meal next week. Am I crazy or is that wrong? Okay, this is a controversial topic, I guess. Some people think that guys shouldn't have to pay for the first date. Some people think they should. Personally, I'm of the opinion that at least on a first date, a guy should always pay for the first date. I mean, like, I see the other side of it that, like, what if they're not in a financial position? But, like, the first date doesn't have to be at, like, you know, Ruth's Chris, like, steakhouse, like a fancy place. Like, it could literally be at, like, a super chill Mexican restaurant. It could be, like, you know, whatever. It could be coffee. Coffee is $5. And I feel like if someone's not putting in the effort to, like, pay for you on a first date, that probably means they're not viewing this as, like, a long-term, you know, relationship. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm sure there are some people who are like, I just don't think it's a big deal. And I don't know if I'm going to end up seeing this person again. And why would I pay for their stuff if I don't know if I want to, you know, see them again? But, like, I think it sets the tone that you're more unsure about this person. Whereas, like, if you are offering to pay for their meal, then it makes it seem like, okay, yeah, like, I'm viewing this as something that, like, I really like you and I want to see where this goes and whatever. Him asking if he can Venmo you for his half of the meal next week is crazy. I think that means that he is probably not going to pay you and you probably won't see him again and he was just looking for a free meal, but maybe not. I don't know. But I would definitely have some questions about that. That doesn't seem like normal behavior. Okay, next question, someone said. I was on a date and the guy spent the whole time talking about his ex, like literally name-dropping her every 5 minutes. Do I give him another chance or run? This is not a question. Run. He was clearly still obsessed with her, and maybe he's even still seeing her. It seems like he needs to talk to someone about that, and maybe that's not you. Maybe that's more like a therapist. So yeah, I mean, that would be my opinion. I think that at least it means he really cares for her, but I don't think it means that he's able to care for someone else at this current moment. I was hanging out with this guy I really like, and when I told him I've never had a boyfriend, he laughed. Now I feel embarrassed. Is that a red flag or just my insecurity? Wow, I can't believe someone did that. Laugh at you when you're, like, being vulnerable and saying that you haven't had a boyfriend before? Also, it's not something to be embarrassed about, okay? I have not had a boyfriend, and that's fine. That's fine. I just have my standard very high. No. You know what? Sometimes it just, like, you don't find someone that, you know, you feel like you really hit it off with. Or it's also, like, you're working or you're, you know, where you work, there's not a lot of people your age. Or, like, you know, there's so many different things that contribute to, like, whether or not you have had a serious relationship, and I don't think there's like a time frame for that. So if someone is making you feel bad for the fact that you haven't like been in a serious relationship, then that probably says something concerning about them, because I do agree that it's very important to like go on dates and to date people and know what you like in a partner and what you don't. And I think that like that experience is very helpful, but I also think that there shouldn't be a pressure for that to happen like a certain point in your life. And I feel like the older you are when you have a first relationship, like the better chance it has probably of working out, you know, because you know more about yourself at that point, and you know probably a little more about like where you see your life going. Maybe not. You don't have to have the whole plan figured out. But yeah, I think that's really not nice of someone. And I think that's also just like it's a red flag for the rest of their personality that they are cool with making someone feel bad about anything, regardless. I think that when someone tries to make you feel bad about something or makes fun of you for something, regardless of what it is, like that is a very bad characteristic and is not something that I think you could overlook or that I could overlook ever, really. Those are my 2 cents. Okay, last question. I was on a date and the guy told me he doesn't do texting and then disappeared for 3 days. Am I being too needy for wanting consistent communication? Okay, this one is actually really interesting because I am someone who does not like texting. Like I'm not a good texter. I'm busy so much of the day that at the end of the night when I finally have some free time, I don't want to spend it responding to texts and figuring out what to say. But I think it's a choice to not respond for 3 days. And when I care about someone and I'm interested in talking to them, even if it's like first stages, like we went on a date and I was like, okay, that went well and I want to see where it goes, like I'm going to put in the effort to text them. Or if you really don't like texting, like send a voice text that's literally like, hey, sorry, been a crazy day, like hope you're doing great, blah, blah, blah. Or call them, you know, like there's so many different ways to communicate with someone, and them choosing to not respond for 3 days is definitely a game. But also, I feel like you can have that upfront conversation, which I've definitely had with people who I really care about talking about. Like, I'm super honest. I'm like, hey, I kind of suck at texting and expect to really only hear from me once a day. Like, if you send me a text, it probably won't be till at night where I can respond because that's just the way my days are. Like, I never have a gap until I'm laying in bed about to fall asleep. And if you have that conversation, then I think people get it more versus if you literally, someone's just going silent and then you're like, okay, so did you block me or what's up? So I would say that's definitely like, you're not being needy for wanting communication. And I mean, maybe just like text him and be like, hey, like, I found it kind of like, I don't know, it's like, it kind of made me feel a little weird that it like took you so many days to respond. Like, just kind of want to see where your head's at. If you're not like looking for something, or if you felt like we didn't really vibe, that's totally fine. I just want to know so that I don't, you know, put more energy into this, like something like that. I don't know. I'm a fan of communication. I'm at a point in my life, 20 years old, where I cannot do any more games. Like I did okay, he waited 30 minutes to respond, I'm gonna wait 35 minutes to respond. Like, it was a brief chapter. It's not a good chapter. I'm done with it. Now I'm just like into, if I'm around and I'm on my phone, I'm gonna text you. And if I'm not, like I'm not. And I'm not gonna wonder if the reason you didn't text me for a few hours was because like you were trying to play cool or whatever. I don't know. I think that's just so time consuming and annoying. So those are my takes. But also, as much as I'm like, wow, all these people are horrible, ditch them, they're so bad. No. I mean, like, I think that it's just, I feel like we can all raise our standards a little bit. Like, we don't have to accept that behavior, you know? Like, let's, like, raise the bar to adult behavior. But it's crazy, like, some people out there, like, some of the messages I've gotten on Hinge are pretty wild. I have not been on for a few months. I kind of gave up on it. I didn't delete my profile, but I really should have because I haven't checked it in months. But, like, when I was on there, there were some wild messages. One of my prompts was, Like, best way to win me over is hit me with a good opening line. I was expecting something that was interesting, unique, like a cool, maybe like a cheesy, pickup line, but that was like kind of cute. No, these men did not do that. They were a little more avant-garde with their take on what that meant. One of them said, "Are you a painting? Because I'd love to nail you to the wall." I would not love that, sir. Please never message me again. Another one of them said, "Can you give me your friend on the right's number? But don't tell her that you gave me her number while I still flirt with you." She did not want to give you her number, sir. But that was an interesting one. And then the other one said, "Are you a dog? 'Cause woof woof." I don't even know what that means. Like, I'm so confused. And there's a lot more really unique ones out there that I probably have blacked out in my memory. But it's just like this is really like this is the romance now that we have. Like, this is what we're settling for, So it's rough out there, but I can attest that there are some good ones. You just need to dig for it, hopefully. Fingers crossed. We'll see. Check back in a few weeks. Maybe I'll have an update. Who knows? But I hope that all of your adventures out there in dating are going well or start going better. And remember, if he wants to Venmo you for his half of the meal next week, say no. Well, thank you guys for listening. This was a fun one. I think I'm going to start doing these episodes shorter because I feel like as a listener, like when I'm listening to podcasts, I don't have like very long drives. Like I only have like 10 minutes to listen to a podcast or like 10 minutes while I'm getting ready or whatever. And as much as I love doing the 30-minute episodes, I'm like, let's try something new. So let me know if you like these like short and sweet episodes and send in your questions for next week because I'm very excited to see the progress we're making. All right, I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Thank you so much for watching this episode of New Friends. I really hope you enjoyed it. It would mean so much to me if you would subscribe to my channel on YouTube and send this to someone who you think might enjoy it. Hope to see you in the next episode. Bye!